Welcome to Garage Talk Unwrapped Episode 2. This month we're at Autosport International at the NEC in Birmingham. We cover a very emotional new car launch for Speed of Sight and talk to industry leaders about their insights into the automotive aftermarket. We also have a feature from the Women's Automotive Network in the lead up to International Women's Day. So much to pack in, let's go!
John Galloway, Speed of Sight, at Autosport International 24. You had quite an emotional morning, haven't you, John?
I've had a very emotional morning. A morning of emotion I never thought we would have, not to this level anyway.
But you deserve it. Let's face it, the charity you have brings joy to a lot of people that wouldn't have that without what you and Mike do.
You're absolutely right. It really, the charity provides, and I say this, but when I say it, I mean it more than words. We provide life-changing, emphasis on life-changing driving experiences. If you're a motoring enthusiast and you've had a stroke or you have epilepsy and you used to like driving cars but you can no longer drive cars, imagine driving a racing car now. That's what we enable. And then there's other people with disabilities that have never driven who want to drive cars. That's what we do.
And what's the driving force behind the business, John?
There's so many things that come into play. But it all started with a boy's dream, my co-founder, my best friend, who happens to be the world's fastest blind driver. Yes, I said the world's fastest blind driver. And he started his incredible journey 20 years ago. He holds 8 Guinness World Records. So if that's not a driving force, then I don't know what is.
And I think we're all well aware of Mike's passion and why he's done this charity.
Yeah.
But to have your support and the way you've assisted that as well, John, what is your personal satisfaction from helping and assisting Mike the way you have done? Because you're a large part of this business, let's be honest.
Thank you for saying that. I'm not often asked that question, so please forgive me for answering it slowly. I just want to make a difference. I grew up my mum had a disability, a very complex disability. So from a young age, she became disabled, a wheelchair. My dad had 2 major strokes. So I came from a household where disability exists. And what people don't realize is that disability can isolate you, right? And because of that isolation, there's a number of things that can come into play. Depression, right? Lack of confidence, lack of self-esteem, severe mental health issues. And I knew what it's like when they were able to do things that they never thought they could. So that was ingrained in me young as a child. And through my adulthood, I just know what a difference it makes when you put out a hand of support to help someone. If we all helped one person, if we only helped one person each, the world would be a better place.
So what type of reactions do you get, John?
You know what? We have got thousands of testimonials. But let me put it this way. When we set this organization up 12 years ago, what I thought would happen, right, is that people, as they do now, come to our driving experiences, and we would normally get 3 reactions. One reaction is, as we take their racing helmet off and they've completed the experience, they wipe the tears of joy away. Another reaction is that they gesticulate, scream and shout, and maybe F and Jeff about how amazing that experience was. And then the last example is they simply just look you straight in the eye, completely speechless, thinking, what the hell have I just done? But you know what? That's what I thought, and that's what we see every day. But what I didn't realize, having done this for 12 years, that will be people who we delivered that experience to 12 years ago that still come back to this driving experience. We've got children from age 11 that are now 18. One of them is coming here today, right? And this has changed his life. He has no legs, all right? He has travelled around the United Kingdom, literally to every racing circuit that we go to so he can experience motorsports.
John, today you've received 2 new vehicles from MEV. What do these mean moving forward?
It means so much. We fundraise tirelessly throughout the season, whether it be rattling charity buckets, asking sponsors to come and sponsor, Inspire 25 Club, people doing, it's not easy. We're in a cost of living crisis right now. It's harder than it's ever been. And we were lucky to just get over the line to be able to have enough funds to buy one of these cars. And that's what we did. So today was very special because everyone at Sports Speed Aside has made that happen. And then to find out that we've not just got one car to unveil, but we've got 2. Because MEV, who build these cars, have donated the second car, is mind-blowing. Well, Mike, we're here, Autosport International. We came here thinking we've got 1 car. We've got 2, mate. How's it feel?
Well, it hasn't sunk in, buddy. It's going to take a while. The fact that what's happened here has probably pushed us 2 years in front of where I thought we'd be, at least. And the car already, without taking it on track, I already know it will do exactly what I wanted.
What do you think this means for our future?
It launches our future into a different stratosphere.
What do you think it's going to mean to already the low base of drivers that we have, disabled drivers?
All the people that want to get in a track car that couldn't before now can. And we can really put a good, clear water between the experiences we provide. We have dedicated vehicles now for each opportunity we put forward. We've got the track cars for track days, we've got the buggies for off-roading, and it's just makes it so much better and perfect.
You know what, I thought we looked the part when we rock up at a track day with the cars that we already have.
We will look the part now.
This is unmanageable.
Beyond imagination.
This is just a dream. I feel like I'm still in a dream.
For tools and machinery, come to Machin Mar. Experts in our 65 superstores help you choose from the vast range, including air compressors, tool chests, stoves, welders, generators, water pumps, heaters, power tools, and much more. Or just order by phone or online. Look out for our money-saving special offers. Our free catalogue contains hundreds of price cuts and great new products. Or visit our website with thousands more specialist products in Machin Mar Extra. Shop in-store, online or call.
Now back to Autosport International, where we're talking to Uniclutch.
Phil, all the way from Australia at Autosport. How's it been?
It's good. It's good. I'm struggling with the cold, but it's good to be here and excited to talk to you about Uniclutch.
But you are UK based anyway. You're from the UK.
Based, so it's a bit of a soft introduction to the bad weather and everything. But it's great to be here at the Autosport show as well. My first time back in 10 years, so it's brilliant.
I'm sure it's warmer in Melbourne.
Oh, it is. It is.
Right, let's get there. Uniclutch is coming to the UK. Tell us why.
Yeah. So Uniclutch is coming from all the way from Australia, Melbourne, launching in February through Auto Alliance, AAG, and it's an exciting time for us and the Uniclutch team.
But you're not just bringing Uniclutch over, you're bringing something new to the market, aren't you?
So it's a new product, it's a new revolutionary clutch. Clutches tend to be quite boring. Nothing's really changed in them for about the last 100 years, I would have thought. This is a new product. It's a sealed twin plate clutch system. The revolutionary thing with it is it actually fits multiple vehicles. So it's really, really new to the market. And the whole thing is it increases the product quality and increases the performance of the product in the vehicle, as well as being adaptable. So from a stockist point of view, it means that you can cover thousands of vehicles with 20 SKUs instead of 5,000 SKUs across the board. The benefit of a mechanic and somebody that's doing a clutch job on the car, it means that you no longer need to grind a flywheel or take a flywheel off the vehicle. Now that saves everybody money, the mechanic money and the end user money. So that's all built into the sealed system. It has an integrated flywheel surface in there. It's extra dampened, so it's got radial dampening in there. So it's super, super quiet, and it's all for smooth engagement, but it's an upgraded product.
And one thing we're trying to get in the UK market is that quality nowadays is far better than a cost-effective product because the quality products last longer. That's where you're aiming, isn't it? With this?
Yeah, it is, and all of the Uniclutches come in. So being sealed, you'd normally buy a twin plate clutch. We sell a box of bits to the customer. With the Uniclutch and it being sealed, every Uniclutch has a QR code on the back. The mechanic and the end user can scan this QR code and actually get all the specs of that particular product. So that means that from a quality point of view, we know that when it leaves Melbourne, it's 100% working and ready for the operation in that vehicle that it's catalogued for and ready to go into.
And of course, long term, that actual cost spreads over a lot longer period, so it's actually far cheaper than buying an OEM product, for example.
Yeah. So being a twin plate, you've got twice the surface area essentially, so therefore the clutch will last twice as long in the vehicle. So yeah, it's really there to benefit both mechanics, stockists and resellers, as well as the end user from a performance point of view. So being quiet, being a twin plate and quiet is unheard of. Normally if it's a twin plate, there's a rattle, there's a noise. You know, you're in a racing car, you feel like, but also you want to drive it to Tesco on the weekend. So it's one of those things where it really needs to be a clutch without compromise, which I think we've done with this.
The UK car market now is getting older. We're keeping cars for a lot longer. Yeah. With products like this, you'll be able to keep your clutch in better condition, won't you, for longer?
Yeah. So you should get a little bit more longevity from it. It's also, it future-proofs the clutch industry as well, because it means there is a clutch available for cars that maybe they're discontinuing, they're older vehicles, it's an older car park now. So it's something where we can really future-proof the clutch industry for everybody again. I mean, there's an accessible product to multiple people in the market.
And this product's in many other countries as well, isn't it? Tell us about your distribution.
Yeah, so we've recently launched last June we launched in Australia, October we went to the US, and now as of February we're launching across Europe. So, you know, it's exciting times. This is just the start of big things. We've currently got 2 clutches in the range. We've got the Uniclutch, which again is a twin plate. We've got a Uniclutch Sport, and then further down the track, no pun intended, we've got a Uniclutch Track launching, which is ceramic plates, suitable more for track use, and then also a 4x4 specific 4-terrain Uniclutch as well, which is for your 4x4 cars as well.
And of course, you're over here to support the launch, aren't you? So we've actually got people on the ground assisting the launch. It's not just the product's been shipped in, there you go, get on with it.
No, so we've got the support of AAG UK and their network of sales team. We've got a dedicated clutch and Uniclutch specialist within that team who is solely there to support once I leave. My role here, coming all this way, is to get everybody trained to provide the technical information, and as well as how to process a sale on it and how to actually offer the benefits to the customer.
Phil, you've obviously brought us this car for a reason. Tell us why.
Yeah, so as part of the training and getting everybody up to speed on how revolutionary Uniclutch is and how it works, we're actually installing a Uniclutch, the first Uniclutch installed in the UK, in this very car. Obviously, it's Napa branded for the AAG team, and it's solely to show everybody, one, how easy it is to install, and two, the team can physically drive the car with the Uniclutch in it, which, what better sales pitch have you got than taking this to a customer and we tell them about all these benefits and they can physically feel and see the benefits.
And now for our feature with Women's Automotive Network.
Hello and welcome to this leadership interview on behalf of Women Automotive Network. I'm your host today. My name is Mika Golbig, founder and CEO of Golbig Coaching and Communications. We support women in automotive and tech to lead with confidence in male-dominated environments. Today, I am very honored and excited to be talking to Linda Jackson, Global CEO of Peugeot, about her outstanding career in the automotive industry. Thank you so much for being with us today. Welcome, Linda.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. I'm looking forward to this. I hope I'm looking forward to it.
Before we dive in, let me tell people a little bit about your career, just the highlights. Linda Jackson served in a variety of finance and commercial roles at Jaguar, Land Rover, and the Rover Group before joining PSA in 2005. At PSA, she initially held senior leadership positions at Citroën, most distinctly as the brand's global CEO from 2014 to 2020. And for the past 3 years, she has been the global CEO of Peugeot and a member of the Stellantis top executive team. All right, Linda, this is so exciting. You are one of the first 3 women to really lead a major car company. Was that promotion, becoming a CEO of a car company, to your current role, the proudest career moment for you, or was there anything else?
No, to be honest with you, I think that was the proudest moment. I mean, I've been very lucky. I've started at the very bottom and worked my way all the way up. And therefore, I'd had some very, sort of important roles like, sort of head of a particular brand in France, et cetera, et cetera. But to actually get a brand CEO position back in 2014 when I was appointed in Citroën, and to be a member of the executive board was like moving from, the bottom of Mount Everest onto Mount Everest. It was a little bit like that. It was an enormous learning curve. So it was the proudest moment of my life, I think, in terms of work career. So yeah, I would say that, and then obviously to get a second chance to do another brand, perhaps an even more iconic French brand, which is Peugeot, was just like the cherry on the cake. So and different challenges. Citroën was a different challenge. Peugeot is all about going into the electric world and making us an EV brand, and wanting to become an EV leader by 2025, and all of those things. So different challenges, but equally as proud. And there is a sense of pride as well in terms of how you build teams and all of those sort of things. So, but yeah, that was the proudest moment of my career, was the first one, and then obviously the second one, and being part of Stellantis, which is like, again, it's just the merger of FCA and PSA to create Stellantis as one of the major automotive ones, and be part of that is just tremendous. It's an opportunity you could never dream about.
Yeah, that is really something. Yeah, you probably did not dream of that when you started. And the interesting thing, you just mentioned it already. You really spent your entire career in automotive.
I did.
I wonder what the biggest challenge was.
Oh wow,
for you personally.
Well, I suppose the very fact that I've chosen to stop in the automotive business means I love it. And because you don't stop in something and continue to do it unless you really, really enjoy it, because you have to give 100% of your time. I suppose the fact that I've organically grown in my career helps, so that you sort of get used to the responsibility and the stress and all of the things that happen. And as I say, the fact that I've been here for 40 years means that I must enjoy it. And I suppose
I would hope so, yes.
Question of what's the greatest challenge? Maybe I've been fortunate. Probably the greatest challenge is believing in myself, because I think I'm probably two things. I'm one, a perfectionist. I love to get things right, as we all do. But you also have to learn sometimes that you can't be a perfectionist all the time, because otherwise you would never ever actually achieve anything. So you'd never do anything. You'd always wait until I got the perfect presentation. So I think the challenges that I've overcome, I've been fortunate in that I haven't been hit by discrimination in any way, really. And I've been very much encouraged. I have been fortunate, which is also one of the reasons that I've done quite a lot of work with the Institute of Motor Industry in the UK about encouraging diversity and all of those things, because I think it's important. But I think the biggest challenge to overcome was me, and really have the confidence in myself to be able to move up and accept that responsibility and all of the things that go with it. So probably it's me was the biggest challenge.
Thank you for sharing that. I think that is so important for our audience to hear, because I'm sure they're also, we have a lot of listeners. Thank you for that, people to all join us here. But I think many of them are also in earlier stages of their career, and hearing that you say, hey, the biggest challenge is really my mind, my mindset and everything. It's so important, because people feel that way.
Well, when I say the biggest challenge is me, and it's in a couple of senses, and this is why, when people say to me, "Oh, would you do it again?" Well, yes, I would, and I wouldn't change anything that I've done. Probably I would work less, maybe, because maybe I try to prove things a little bit too much. But what have I had to overcome is the fact that have confidence in yourself and believe you can do it. And I think the turning point as I went up this ladder. The turning point was I actually decided I needed to get out of my comfort zone. And my comfort zone was that I'd always worked in the UK. And my comfort zone was to come out of the UK. And I didn't go very far. I'm really impressed by people that go to the opposite sides of the world. But yeah, I went over what we call the Channel, and I went to work in France in a completely different environment. And this was back in the 1990s. So it was not the environment that it's like today. So it was a very, very different culture, and obviously a different language. And it was really if you like, challenging myself to come out of that comfort zone, because I could have stayed in the UK and continued.
Mm-hmm.
Would I be where I am now? No, I don't think so. But that's sometimes what you have to overcome, is that, if you really want to move up, and you have to be able to say, okay, I'm going to feel a bit uncomfortable right now, and maybe for the next year, because it's a big challenge. And that's a little bit like going back to when you said, what was the greatest opportunity that you had, and when were you proud? Was when I became brand CEO of Citroën. And that was like, as I say, moving from one level completely up to the top of Mount Everest, because here was I at the time in charge of Citroën, a brand in the UK, which is an important job. But then to be globally in charge, plus all of the strategy and the product, and also be part of the executive team working for Carlos Tavares, which was setting out what's going to be the strategy for the group. I mean, that's just like two levels. And therefore, again, that was me coming out of my comfort zone and really saying, okay, Linda, you can do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have to believe in yourself at some point.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I would like to add on to that. It's like, for women in automotive, what do you see as the main attraction right now, like when people are considering or are starting their careers in automotive?
Well, I think if you're coming into the automotive business now, you are the luckiest person. And I wish I could be 40 years younger to be able to come back into this industry. And I'll tell you why. Because what's happening, in my opinion, what's happening in the next 5-10 years is far more exciting and more disruptive and challenging, but more disruptive than has happened in the previous 40 years. I mean, I've now coming into an era where we're going electrification, we're going to digitalization, we're going into ChatGPT, we're going into completely new customer experiences. We don't think it's unusual to buy something online. We want personalized customer experiences. I mean, you name it, every single aspect of the automotive business is changing. So it is a fantastic time to be moving into something which is moving, if you like, from the old mechanical view of what a car is. And of course, it's still a mechanical thing, and we still need super engineers, but it's also about software and the interface of software and the interrelationship skills of people as well. So I think it's the opportunities that it offers. Anybody who wants to come into the automotive one, there are so many opportunities now that, as I say, I think it's ultra exciting as an industry, and the challenge of all of the things that we're doing to be sustainable. I mean, Stellantis, of which Peugeot is a part, we are going to become carbon net zero by 2038, which is not that far away now. And that's not just about selling electric vehicles. It's about how we buy our parts, where we make the parts, what we do in our factories, what we do in our dealerships, all of those things. And wow, to be working on that in terms of circular economy, I mean, it's so exciting. So I am jealous of the people that are coming into the industry right now, to be honest with you. And maybe I can live to 110 and be able to be here, but you never know.
Yeah, so it's an entire industry out of its comfort zone, right? So that is very, very exciting.
Yeah, and it's interesting, because when I say to people, well, why wouldn't women want to be in the automotive industry, when generally, if I look across the customers, 50% of them are female. So why wouldn't they want to have an influence on how we produce cars, where we produce cars, what we have as a customer experience? And also, I remember many years ago, and I think it was probably now about 8 or 9 years ago, and I'm sure it hasn't changed, there was a survey that was done by the UK, somewhere at some magazine in the UK, which said that behind something like 90 to 95% of the decisions to buy a car, it was the woman who had made the decision.
Yes.
So once again, why wouldn't women want to be in this exciting industry? So
yeah, it's a lot more fun to make a decision about something that really speaks to you, right?
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And I also always say to people is that when people buy a car, they're expressing an emotion, because it says something. I mean, okay, there may be 1% of of consumers that buy it because they need to get to A to B, they want the cheapest car or whatever it may be. But the majority of us buy a car that says something about what we are, our status, or what we aspire to be, or what we like. So it's an emotional buy. So again, that's super exciting, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned earlier, diversity came up really briefly, and I would really like you to tell us a little more about why DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, means so much to you.
Yeah, well, I mean, for me, it's important. Why? And you can look at the very statistics that come out of it, and it says, if you have a more diverse workforce, you get more creativity because you get sharing of all those ideas, and that's absolutely true. And I've got experience of that, having worked in France, having been in charge of a global company. So I know in my team, something like 50% of them are non-French. So they're coming from, so we've got 50% from across the world, from Brazil to China to South Korea to Europe, of course, but Mexican, whatever it may be. And therefore, why is it important? It's because we all live in our own little worlds. And it's important that we understand what's outside. And it's also important that we realize that our customers are not all in our own little world. I know I live in France, but not all my customers live in France. I need to have a team that represents who I'm selling to. And that can be anything from, as we quite say, ethnicity to culture to gender, whatever it may be. So we need to have a team that reflects that, and we need to be able to think like that because the world is global now. So I think it's important for me that we push that, and particularly in the automotive industry, where historically it's been seen as very much a male-dominated environment, not particularly embracing for females, or even embracing for people of different ethnicities or disabled people or whatever it may be. So for me, it's important that we recognize that everybody has their part to play, and we've all got different ideas, and therefore that mix is absolutely going to deliver better results. And just to go back to Stellantis, which is what I'm a part of, we've got over 160 different nationalities. And you can be on a meeting, a Teams meeting or a Zoom meeting like we are right now, and you can have people expressing their opinion from in Brazil to somebody expressing it in Japan. And they're different, completely different, because they have a different take on life. And I think that's when you really become customer centric. Whatever you're selling or whatever you're doing, is when you realize that you need to be able to understand your customers and obviously understand all of those things. But as a personal experience, then having a diverse team creates so many ideas, so much creativity.
I love that, because it's diversity of ideas and opinions in the end to have a diverse workforce. Yeah, thank you very much for that.
Exactly.
And what role, we are the Women Automotive Network on this, and we are very happy for your support here. But can you generally tell us a little bit about how do networks like female networks help women in this industry? What's the importance?
Well, I think the importance is and we talked a little bit about it, is people often say to me, well, you ought to see yourself as a role model, which I think is awful to think of yourself as a role model. But if you can be able to give support to women and express how you've got to where you have and what you've been through personally, I think it's a much better real experience that you can share with people than a true experience, if you like, very authentic experience that you can share with people, because otherwise it becomes a little bit sort of theory, and it's not that you've lived through it. I have lived through it and I've moved forward. I've been fortunate in maybe getting chances and what have you, but I know what it means, and therefore I think the support that you can give, whether, for example, I mentor people, or as I say, I've been working very closely with the Institute of Motor Industry on leading a working group on diversity, particularly in gender. then I think you understand that those types of organizations, whether it be the Women's Network, whatever it may be, you provide an environment which is safe, which is important, where people can express their opinions, but also they can understand and talk to people who are either living the same as them or have lived it and have learned from it. And I think that's the real benefit. So I think it's ultra important to be able to share and to share experiences. And therefore, for me, that's the real benefit is how can we empower women in the automotive sector to be able to support each other? And this is a great example. I mean, okay, you're hearing me go on, but I mean, if I can at least have an influence on you and say, well, yeah, I know what it's like. Come out of your comfort zone, or believe in yourself, or don't work so hard, or whatever it may be. If I can help encourage more people to come into this great sort of automotive or anything really, women coming in and really being proud of what they're doing and really making a mark in whatever industry, then I think it's all worthwhile. You've played your part.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing all that. And I appreciate that you don't want that you feel a little uncomfortable being called a role model, but maybe that's your step out of the comfort zone right now. That very many younger women do definitely see you as an amazing role model because you have the experience. So this is so valuable. Thank you for that. And we have a little more time, or almost that time. I would like you to tell us also, you said you would love to do it all over again and not change much, but if you were, with the knowledge you have today, talking to your 16-year-old self, or a daughter, a 16-year-old, what advice would you give your 16-year-old self?
Okay, that's a great question. So what would I say to myself? Well, I'd probably say, well, you still have to work hard because there is no magic secret or recipe. It's all about hard work. And sometimes it's about being in the right place at the right time, let's be honest. But it is about hard work. It would definitely be believe in yourself, because I think that's a really important one. And I learned that I need to believe in myself, have confidence, and realize that, that you're as good as anybody else. I was reading something about when women apply for a role, that they look at, maybe there's 10 things experience you need. And if we haven't got 9 of the 10, we say, no, I'm not going to apply.
Or 11 of the 10, right?
Exactly. But a man will look at the first 3 and say, yeah, it's okay, I'll be able to wing it for the rest of them, yeah? So that's a perfect example of take confidence in yourself. And so, I think work hard. I would say believe in yourself, go out of your comfort zone if you have to, because unfortunately, sometimes you do. Number 3 would be never give up. Never give up. If you really want something, never give up. And the last thing that I think is really important, and I try to do this now as much as I did 40 years ago, 20 years, is have fun. Because we spend so much time at work that you need to have fun. You need to enjoy it. And it's like I say, I wouldn't have remained in this fantastic automotive industry if I didn't enjoy it. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. You need to have fun. So yeah, work hard, believe in yourself, never give up, and have fun.
I could not agree more. Thank you so much. This has been a lot of fun for me. And I know that you have a hard stop in 3 minutes. So we'll leave it at that. Thank you, Linda, so much for sharing, giving us some insights into your career, your opinions, and the future you see for this exciting industry. That was really so valuable for all of us.
Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you again next month.